Hi everyone, welcome to the Stormwater Construction General Permit System how-to video on how to edit staff access, and we're also going to go over the different user types within the system. So the first thing I'm going to show you how to do is add a brand new user to the system. Just keep in mind that adding new users to the system as well as editing access, whether it's editing the access level or deleting the user, is an administrator function only. So only people in the system that are designated as an administrator within the VSMP authority can do these functions. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is go up to the right hand corner where you see this little gear and hit users. And when we're adding a brand new person to the system, we want to make sure that they don't already exist in the system. We're not creating a duplicate, so we're going to use Fairfax as an example and look for John at fairfax.gov. Oops. And it looks like he's not in the system, so from there we can go ahead and click New User. And it's going to auto-populate his email address up here since we already entered it in. As a general rule of thumb, these little star fields, any field with a star, is required for saving. So we're going to have to enter his first name as well and his last name. And then we're going to scroll down here where we can add all of the different user levels. We're going to go over what these mean later, but for now we're just going to add him as a viewer. That's the lowest access level. And just as a side note, when you're adding a person into the system or editing their role, you'll only be able to see your own VSMP authorities levels down here. So you won't be able to see DEQ like you can for me. You'll just be able to see the different levels for the city of Fairfax if that's your VSMP. So after you select the role that you want the new user to have, you can scroll down and hit submit, and that will save them in the system. Once you save them in the system as a new user, they'll receive an email address at the one that you entered in, and that will prompt them to activate their account. They have to activate their account within 96 hours. That'll allow them to create their own password, and then they'll be able to log into the system themselves. So once you have someone in the system that you want to edit the access level for, again, you just go up to this gear and hit users, and you're going to pull up their account in the system. So let's just look for everyone that has access in Fairfax. And then we can pull up our buddy John Doe, click on his name. This will pull up his profile so you can view it, but then you want to hit edit. And then from there you can edit the name, add notes, and then you can check any other level of user access that you want to give them. So I'm going to go over the access levels for just a second. The first one that we added for John is the viewer. And the viewer can look at data and search data. That's all that they can do. They can't edit anything. The preparer can get into the system and add permit records. If there's an existing permit record, they can initiate a modification or a transfer, which we'll go over in a later video. But really all they can do is view data and save things that have not already been submitted. The certifier can actually take that permit record and submit to DEQ for approval. And then the administrator is the person that can do all of the things listed below, as well as edit, delete, add staff access levels. So since John Doe is already in the system, we can go ahead and add him as a viewer and a preparer. Also, as you're adding new levels of access, you want to add them cumulatively, starting from viewer, going up to preparer, certifier, and then administrator. So you wouldn't want to add someone as administrator if they didn't already have every other subsequent level of access. Now, if you're in a VSMP authority that does not have an administrator that can log in and add access levels, that person's just left, you don't have their login information anymore, you'll have to contact DEQ, and we'll provide that email address asking to add an administrator to the system, so then you will have someone on your team that can add all the other staff. So once we've added the new level of access that we want John to have, so we want him to be a preparer and a viewer, we can go ahead and scroll down and hit submit. And it'll take a second to save. Then we can just go ahead and double check and make sure that he's in there as we want him. And let's see, John Joe's in there, and it looks like it saved him as a preparer and a viewer. So now that we've changed his access level, it may take closing out of the system and logging out and reopening for it to take effect. So just keep that in mind if it's not happening right away. Okay, so the last thing we need to go over is just deleting someone from the system. So if you have someone that's no longer in the position and you want to delete them from your VSMP authority, such as Joe Schmo, we'll pull up his account and just hit delete. It'll ask you, are you sure you want to delete him from the system? And of course you say okay. And just make sure that he did in fact get deleted. Looks like he's not there anymore. All of these different functions are the responsibility of the administrator that has access and the power to add and edit staff access. So as people gain access within the VSMP authority, leave or enter new positions, it's the responsibility of the administrator to keep track of that and keep that up to date. So again, we went over adding staff access, editing staff access, deleting users, and the different levels of user types.